Hi guys, today I'm going to review the Samsung Galaxy Note 4, and this is very well what could be my last smartphone review because, and I'm already telling you this right now, if you are a Samsung owner or a Samsung fanboy, you can save us both the time, just end watching this video and give me the dislike, because you will do it anyways, no matter what I say, because no matter what I will say good or bad about this device, you won't agree with it anyways. So that out of the way, let's start with the review. I will try to do it in one take and make it a bit quick and dirty because it will be wrong whatever I say anyways. So about the design and the build quality. In terms of premium feel and handling and everything else, it is fine. The back material feels very grippy. It feels also very premium. The metal finish is also a really nice thing, but the beveled edges are one thing I'm not so much, and I gave it to a lot of other people just to see their opinion on it. And they all, at least most all, said that these edges are a bit unnecessarily sharp, because when you use it in your hood, yeah, sometimes mostly at the edges it just doesn't feel as good as I would wish for it to be, but it looks and feels very premium. And don't think the beveled edges will look that nice as they do right now, because I only dinged it once here, and you can already see the scratch. So I'm not sure how long it will look like this, but you notice from iPhones, maybe like if you've seen some of them after a few months, they don't look that good anymore. As for the buttons here, the power button and this volume rocker, in my opinion, are too high. Not just because of reach, and a few people want it higher, I talked to them in the comments, but the thing here with the volume rocker is whenever you play a game, that's exactly where I have my finger, and I a lot of times accidentally hit it. Be that as it is, that's just my opinion. The curve here around the display, if you can maybe see it, there is a 2.5D glass here. It is a nice idea, it feels very nice, but I don't get quite the purpose of it if the edge of this metal trim is higher than the curve, because you can't feel it that well. But that's about for that. Otherwise, the device of course is big. Just a quick comparison with 5.2 inches. It is a lot bigger, and one-hand use is a lot harder, I would say. But hey, if you want a phablet, then you definitely know what you're dealing with. So once quickly again, build quality is very good. Design, in my opinion, not so much, but still good. As for the display, and yeah, I can make it quick, it is, in my opinion, and yeah, all the haters you out there, I'm saying this, it is the best display out there. If I could choose any display to have on any device, I would right now wish for this, because colors pop. It is quite bright, not the brightest one out there, but still very bright, and just looks great. Of course, it's not accurate, it is overblown, but hey, I don't mind it. I like it actually, because it looks just satisfying. But there is also an option if you want to. There are a few different modes. You have AMOLED Cinema, which is more realistic, photo here as well, as you can already see, and you have basic. But once you use adaptive display for a longer period of time, even after one day or two, and you go to one of the more realistic colored mode, you will feel like they look dull. So I prefer this, and in overall viewing angles are also very nice. At a very high angle, colors look a bit fluorescent and a bit wrong, but you don't usually use those angles anyways. The white is slightly on the warmer term, little bit yellow, but I think for most people this will be a very nice white. It's only in comparison to a really cold display, like for example on the Sony, where you will notice the difference. The Sony right now isn't really bright, but that's a really cold display, and then this looks only then this looks yellow. Otherwise it looks fine. I like it. So the display, yes, it is pretty much the best display. It is sharper than any 1080p screen, but do you really notice it in real life, in daily use? I don't think so, but still it is a fantastic display. As for the sound, the position isn't the best. I still don't like it, but it does a quite decent job. The volume is okay, but I think the closest thing to compare it with would be the LG G3. It is not quite as loud as the G3, but in terms of sound, pretty much the same. So not really much bass, but otherwise the tonal balance is okay, and it's okay. But when I'm playing games, then I miss front facing, and I miss some kind of immersive sound, because the sound sounds, yeah, as it's going away from you, what it does, and you have to reflect if you want to get sound. So the sound is good enough, but definitely can't hold up with really good front-facing stereo speakers or even bottom-facing speakers. But it gets the job done quite nice. In terms of performance, and this is a bit of a double-edged sword, because as you can see here, this looks very smooth and very nice. Same goes for, let's say, Amber. Yeah, of course, no feeds right now, but doesn't matter. Everything you do is quite smooth. But okay, as you can right now see here, it is lagging a bit. And that's the, yeah, at least I got it on camera right now. Because the thing is, most of the times, like maybe 80%, it is very smooth and it performs very nice. And I don't have an issue with any of that. It's a really nice thing. But it's just not 100% consistent as it is on other devices. If I get it right. As you can see here. And yeah, you can tell me I'm not using this in real use and I'm just too busy, but as you can see, it is super smooth. That's not the issue. Apps are fine, but as you can see here, yeah, you saw the delay, and that's one of a lot of cases it happens. As you can see, the delay sometimes is a bit long, but if you saw my performance videos and already complained on that, you know, yeah, they weren't fair and hidden, doesn't matter. Performance is smooth and great games as well. Everything runs fine, but here and then it just bogs down a bit. And about TouchWiz, if we go into the the software, of course, if you can already see here, we have tons and tons of options, and TouchWiz is heavy. It doesn't really feel like it, but it can be overwhelming, at least for first-time users. There are super many options, and I can't get into all of those because it would just take too long, and I won't even try it. But you have really great stuff like multi-window, a lot of customization options. You have the heart rate monitor, you have the S Pen with all the features, and the S Pen, in my opinion, I'm not the biggest fan of the S Pen because it is a bit tiny and flimsy, and the button is a bit hard to feel. You have to look for it, and yeah, you have to know what you will use it for, because I didn't really find so much use for it. I think it's better for some kind of replacement for a mouse or anything like that. But if you like to use the stylus and like to draw on something, it's definitely nice. It works pretty good. But personally, I just didn't see the need for it. But otherwise, the software, like I said, yes, it is still a bit of a performance hog. It does slow down because comparing it with something else, it's just not on that level. But in terms of the UI and the look, you see it's not that bad anymore. So in overall, I'm okay with the design of TouchWiz, and yeah, performance drain isn't that bad. It's okay. If you go into the battery life now, and yeah, of course, this always depends on everyone's use case scenario, but if I use it the same way as I do all my other devices, the battery life is not so impressive, because you see I used 16% in 14 hours with only 6% of screen on time. So I noticed definitely a bigger battery drain, and I don't even have a radio signal. It shows a signal, but there is no SIM card right now because I switched it to my other phone. It is only on Wi-Fi. So battery life is good, but not great. I got about maybe 5 hours of screen on time maximum, and I'm expecting about 4 hours on a casual daily uses, maybe in 15 hours, like 4 hours of screen on time with mobile data. But don't really expect anything more than really 5 hours. If you don't use it in a really short period of time, won't be something you will be seeing. So battery life, good. But after all, this is a Note. They were known for great battery life. And compared to the OnePlus or Z3 or maybe even this S5, I think, it can't compete completely. But it's definitely better than a G3 or a Find 7 or something like that. So that's in terms of battery life. The great thing here is the charging times, because in under 2 hours, about 2 hours pretty much precisely, you have a full charge, and in about half an hour you are at 50%. So the charging times is also very great. So to wrap it up real quick, and I am saying you this, I didn't even, if you maybe saw, I didn't take the size into the equation, because personally for me it's too big, but it doesn't matter. If I review it, I don't take this into the equation. And I actually have to say one-hand use was quite okay. If I wanted to do something for longer or heavier tasks, then I had to use two hands, especially for typing. But hey, after all, it's a personal preference. I prefer the smaller screen. I had 5.5 and I could use it. And I could use this as my daily driver without any issues. But if I can personally choose, I go smaller. But if you want all the extra features and everything else, and maybe here's the question, should you prefer this over the Nexus 6? And this is usually would have been an easier question if you consider to buy the Nexus 6 with the price of the Nexus line. But now they are pretty close, at least in my country, because this one is about $700 and the 32GB version of the Nexus 64 is also $700, $650 for the smaller one. So this means they are almost the same price, at least in my region. In some other, like in the USA, this is about $900 and $700. So there is a difference. But what is my take? If I go bigger than I would like to, then I would go for the Nexus, I think. But wait, just because one thing I forgot, which is definitely a highlight, is the camera. The camera is the best I've used so far. In low light, even in complete pitch black darkness, you shoot a photo with the flash and it doesn't even look like you used the flash. It looks like the room would have been in lighting. And everything else, it's so sharp, detailed. So the camera, without any doubt, is the one I would want on any phone because it kills everything. It kills the Z3, it kills the OnePlus One, by far the best battery I've ever seen. But let's get back to the Nexus 9 and the Nexus 6. I would take the Nexus because it has stock UI. The battery life should be pretty much on same par because it has the bigger screen, but therefore it has the lighter skin. So I think this will be pretty much on par with both. Performance should definitely be better on the Nexus, mostly because of L, not because of the screen or the hardware, because they use the same hardware. It will be mostly L and not just the skin here, because once this gets L, I think it will be pretty smooth, because I think Android Lollipop with art can't even be bogged down because it is so extremely smooth, at least from what I saw from the first Nexus 5 images. I think once every phone gets Lollipop, the performance will be amazing on any phone. But I would take the Nexus 9 because of the stock software and the routing and roaming and everything else. But if you prefer the extra features like the S Pen, the way better camera, I'm pretty much 100% confident this camera will blow the Nexus 6's camera away. And the display, since you have a little bit of display options, I think this will be the better display. I don't think the Nexus 6 will compete with this, but it won't be far away either. So I hope this was kind of enough information for you, for all the fanboys to give me a dislike, and for all the people who like my reviews, maybe to give me a like. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any further questions, I did post already a few pictures already and compare it with the Z3 and the OnePlus One. But that's so far my take. It is a great phone, not for me, but in general, you can't really go wrong. But for the price, yeah, you can't really get a lot better things. So yeah, keep this in mind. Okay, until next time, bye.